to the Just Talk to Me Bro podcast.
Who does this guy even think he is? What are you, chewing rocks? Just talk to me, bro.
Starring your host, Dante Dario.
And welcome back to episode 4 of the Just Talk to Me Bro podcast. As usual, I'm your host, Dante Dario. I know I said that all, but I really had a good weekend this weekend. I ended up going to medieval times, which was a really good experience just to see my family be part of that. They're new to Canada, so it was always a good feeling to show them these things for the first time in their lives. They came from Colombia. They joined me in August. It was a battle to get them to come to Canada. It was a good feeling to bring them in and kind of show them around. Canada is really like a foreign country to them. Because when I go to Colombia, everything's just completely different. It is not the same as what we're used to. The people are very polite. They'll hold a door for you. They'll if you're lost, they'll help you. Like, they'll literally drive you. Like, you'll say, hey, I don't know the directions of someplace. And they'll be like, oh, that's not a problem. I'll take you there myself. So it's always a good experience to kind of see somebody's reaction to something that's so common for you. But at the same time, you're like, what would it be like if I took you here and you've never been there? Like, for example, we have the CN Tower in Toronto. It's a big tower. And there's like glass floors. I got to do that. I got to just put her right on that glass floor looking down. There's like 300 feet. Or I don't know how high it is, to be honest with you. But just bring her there and just be like, yeah, take a look down. That'd be a cool feeling. So we went to medieval times. And in Colombia, there's no medieval times. You just have horses. You can see horse shows, but it's not like fighting and like fake fight to your death type of situations. And we get there, and it was a good experience because I bought like this Queen's Royalty package where you're a VIP member, right? You pay a little bit. Now, it's a very expensive outing, but totally worth the money. You pay a little bit, and then they give you this full-out experience. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like the dudes are role-playing. So as you walk in, they're role-playing. There's your sir, your highness. You're the king, right? Sir. I can't remember the words they were using, but they were really like into it, what they were doing. Everything was incredibly expensive. Like the stuff that they have for sale, all of it's from Alibaba. And they're just rebranding, and they're making cake. It's like 300% markup. And I know that because I do e-commerce, and I see where all this stuff comes from, and it's like, for example, we got these cups, like you can drink out of, and at the bottom it's got LEDs, and they flash, and they strobe, and they make all sorts of colors, and they fill them up with slushy. The cup costs them like $1, right? And the slushy, what could that cost them? Like some syrup to make it, a little freezer or whatever, the machine that spins it and everything and makes the ice. Water's free. You get the ice, crush it up, mix that stuff together, you get a slushie, right? So you put that in that glass, that's $2 or $1, and you sell it to the customer for $16. Why? Because kids like things that flash. Flashy stuff is what gets kids. Now, you know very well, if you're a parent out there listening, or if you're, you've got kids of your own listening on the podcast, YouTube, whatever it is, you understand that when a kid asks for something, it's hard to say no. Now, I know there's moms out there that can do that. That's easy for them to be like, no, you're not getting that. We got one at home, right? You want a light? Especially South American parents, You want a light in your cup? Okay, I'll get you a cup. Go get a cup from me. We're going to put a little light on the bottom. We're going to make it flash for you. Because we're like that, right? So it was really hard to say no for me as a first-time dad. Now, my kid is 5, and you're probably wondering, how am I a first-time dad? They came to Canada just this August. This entire time, I was a dad and a husband without having anything to show for it. Right? It was a hard experience my entire 5 years or 4 years of my life when I was trying to bring them into this country, that I was a nobody. I worked. That's all I did. So I really had nothing to show for it, and I didn't know how to do anything. My wife was doing and manning the stations all by herself. All I could really do was send money. What else am I supposed to do, really? I can provide the support and be there for you through a video call. But is that really what else can I do, really? When they came and they finally arrived, and I had all these responsibilities on top of me, and I was like, geez, man. Taking the kid to school, making sure breakfast is there, doing all the work on top of that, having the free time, taking them to medieval times, and then when the little kid goes, my daughter, she looks at me, she goes, I want it. What am I going to say, no? They just got here. I've been fighting to be with you, and now I'm going to say no to a cup. So it's a little bit different for me, but things are expensive in medieval times, so they kind of target parents that fall for it, or fall for their kids, please, really. Because kids are going to ask stuff from their parents, and your parents are going to be like yes or no, depending on your situation, depending on money. The funniest thing is my kid, I'm like, that's kind of expensive, because she wanted a hat. And the hat is like one of those little pointy little princess hats with the little thing, the twirly thing that attaches to it, whatever. $33. I'm like, wow. So I'm like, that's kind of expensive. Maybe we shouldn't get that, because it's just going to end up in your room, and it's going to be there just like your Build-A-Bear. Because a freaking Build-A-Bear. You want the shoes on your Build-A-Bear? That's another $30. You want a little guitar for your Build-A-Bear? It's another $14. Oh, you want your Build-A-Bear to have a heartbeat? It's going to be $16.99. And the next thing you know, you just left the mall with a $100 bear. Who invents this stuff? The dude that made that is 100% laughing his ass off. He is walking to the bank, counting the bills. All at your expense. Oh, the shoes and the microphone. Oh, you want that Hannah Montana song on there? That's literally Build-A-Bear. And they got the dude playing the part, filling up the bear. And your kid's got to do the whole, one of these little dances. Oh, you got to wake up the bear, rub his eyes. That's literally all they do, and they sell that to you. And that's a service. I understand. It's an experience. Just like medieval times. So I'm explaining to my kid, and she's like, yeah, but you work. I'm like, yeah, I know. She's 5, by the way. Yeah, you work. Yeah, I know. It's a lot of money, though. You can make more. That's not how this works. You don't just make more. You don't buy things that are useless. And then my wife's like, why don't you just get candy and stuff? And she's like, oh, okay. So she got candy. But every now and then the little brains think about it, and they want, what they originally wanted. Now she wanted a sword that light up. So she darts over to a booth and tries to get one of those swords that light up. And no one's attending me. I'm there, I'm standing. People are walking in front of me. Everyone's just everywhere. There's really no organization. So I go over to another booth. And just as I'm about to talk to the person, someone jumps right in front of me. And then boom, they were busy. They just had to be the guy that bought 7 swords. Literally, I'm not even exaggerating in this podcast right now. I get striked if I'm lying by lightning. These people, they grab 7 freaking swords, dude. And their bill was like it was hundreds of dollars for swords that they bought from China. You just go. I understand. I guess I was just talking about appeasing your child because it's hard to say no sometimes. But 7 swords? Whatever. I'm not one to judge. Crazy shit. Other people started coming. Still couldn't get a chance. My daughter clued in, okay, maybe it's not a good idea to ask for toys or whatever it is right now. I'm going to stick to the whole candy situation because that's where I got my, I got the best chances, right? So whatever, we get our drinks, these little slushies with the strobe lights at the bottom. I still got it upstairs. I'm like, I'm going to drink out of this shit and make the most out of it. Okay, I'm going to walk around lighting up rooms with my Coca-Cola. Because if I don't do it, what a waste of money for $16. And that's 16 times 3 because we all got one. My buddy did go. He was smart. He didn't get that cup. He just got a beer. Really, I would get a beer too, but it just leads me to not sleep, which, I'll cover more. I'll cover more later on. So they start calling our names, right? Everyone with the with the white and black hats or crowns, you can go in now. Tables 1, 2, 3, and 4, because we had the royalty package, so it was like right up front, right? I'm all pumped up, ready to go. We walk in, and then we notice right at the gates, everyone that they've been calling in are just standing there. So I'm like, hello? What was the point of announcing for us to go in if you're not ready? So I'm standing there, and this guy taps me on the back. Hey, dude, they called your name. They called your table. You could just go inside. I'm like, hey, you see the person standing over there? You know how they're not letting people in? I'm not going to push them over and go inside. So clearly I'm the one waiting as well. And this dude was just acting tough for his girlfriend or whoever it is that he was with, this chick, right? So he's really annoying me, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to knock you out, dude. So we get inside, whatever. He was right up my tail, like the entire way. Right up our tail, I should say. I get my seat, I sit down. It was really close to the stage. This was really fun, first-time experience. Now, I just say first-time experience. First-time experience at medieval times that I can remember. Because when I was younger, this is another interesting tidbit. I was on Video and Arcade Top 10. That's a show that happened years ago for YTV. YTV was Channel 25 in Canada, the kids channel. And the Video and Arcade was basically you would compete against other kids in video games, right? Kind of like that situation behind me. They had 4 or 5 TVs lined up, and you would just go on and you'd beat each other senseless in some fighting game or whatever, and whoever had the most points or got farthest or whatever it is. It's kind of like the movie The Wizard. I don't know if anybody's out there ever seen that movie with Fred Savage. What a fucking movie. What a good movie. Anyway, it was like that. It was like a Nintendo competition, but you win prizes. You usually win money. You can win stupid things. One of the prizes was medieval times. So I won second place because some kid, he was like the son of the producer or whatever it is. He was practicing the game. It was friggin' rigged because we did like 6 episodes all in one day. I had to keep changing shirts. They keep providing you shirts, and like you change and you go in the audience for 5 of them. You're waving your hands and just trying to make it all crazy. And then on the 6th episode, it was my turn to actually play and be on the show. I still wonder if there's that footage. Never could find it. But I end up winning Medieval Times second place. Whatever. I go to Medieval Times. I don't remember jack of that situation. So being in Medieval Times now, this weekend, was like, I remember it. There was a purpose. I want to do this. Plus, here's another thing. Who goes to Medieval Times by themselves? Straight up, this experience is for your kids or your family. If you're going by yourself, that's a little weird. Unless you've really never been and you're in this country by yourself, all by yourself, and you're here to sightsee or visit or whatever it is, that I get. Sure. But most, if not the majority of people coming to this country, or sorry, I should say going to medieval times, have kids, really, because that's what it's for the kids, right? So I wanted to see my kids' reaction, but I also want to see my wife's reaction because her reaction's kind of just as good too. Because there's like stuff that she's never seen in her entire life. Like in Colombia, like I was mentioning before, there's horses, there's tons, there's animals, this stuff is like whatever to her. She's seen horses every day. I remember going there, walking down the street, and there was a freaking horse, and I asked whose was it, and they was like, oh no, it's wild. Just don't go near it, it's gonna kick you. Huh? There's a horse outside? Yeah, it's wild. Just don't touch it. Don't feed it. Are you for real? Can you just like hop on? Has somebody tried? Anybody try to hop on the horse here? For real. That was like my reaction to that. Now, that reaction there, that whole thing I just played out for you, that's how it's like for them when they come here and you take them to a medieval times. Stuff they don't see. Just like I don't see that here, right? So it's like that for her every single day. And my daughter, just the same thing, every single day. She's just coming along for the ride. She's new to life, right? She's been on Earth for 5 years. So that's okay. But somebody that's like my wife that's been on Earth for 30 years, and then you throw her into medieval times where dudes are all battling out and falcons are flying around. Man, if dragons existed, I'm sure they would have dragons there. So it was a good show. So you bring them there and you're watching their reactions. I think I had a better time watching my wife and my kid than I did the show. And of course, I had a camera out and I was recording everything, but it doesn't justify it. I think my wallpaper right now is my actual wife at that event because I wanted to capture that. I needed that forever. That was a good experience. So we sit down. They start bringing the food. The food is nonstop, dude. It's like you understand where you're spending your money. $400 is what we spent, but I tacked on like the VIP package and the photos. I didn't get the knighting where they put you on a booth and they do a little thing and they touch your shoulders with it and you're knighted. I don't believe it's a waste of money. Just like the cups are a waste of money, but the cup I can hold, the knighting I can't. Really. The photo I can hold, the knighting I can't. This is how I justify it. If I can't hold it, I'm not buying it. NFTs, I can't hold it, I'm not buying it. You're dumb, right? So I don't do all that stuff anyway. But whatever, I don't want to go down that route because that's going to be another whole podcast. I don't want to do. So the food kept coming and coming and coming and coming, and they kept feeding you, and it's like, oh, this is a great value. If you think about it, you go to one of these shows, you spent $400. There's 4 of us. My buddy went as well, right? You spend $50 on dinner, and then you spend another $50 on the show if you were to go to a movie or something. So let's say you go to like a restaurant, you spend $50 each, and then you go watch a movie and then walk around, whatever, and you spend more money. That's literally what it all adds up to. So I think it's a really good value. And again, as I always say, it always sounds like I'm promoting somebody on my podcast, but really I'm not. This is not not brought to you by Medieval Times, just FYI. But it was a good experience. So there was dudes coming out. I think one of the coolest ones was they filled the arena with fog, and a white horse came in right in the middle, and it looked all majestic and shit. The thing had better hair than I do. It's got like Pantene Pro V in there. The hair's just moving side to side all swiftly and elegantly and beautiful, and I'm just like, God, I want to cry. I told that to my buddies, like, really? Are you going to actually cry? I'm like, no, I'm not going to cry. But it's good. It's like, what an amazing experience. And this entire time, there's like a queen coming out. There's a bunch of other knights in different colors, and they're all fighting each other, and different horses, and like brown ones, black ones, white ones. And then they throw in a hawk to really freaking mess with your mind. The hawk is like, as soon as they release the hawk, you just, and it goes right around the arena. just flies right over your head, and it just keeps doing that in circles over and over, and all you hear is the dads go, "Oh, ha ha!" You just all the dads just woke up at that point. They're, "Ha ha ha ha! Oh, ha ha ha!" I'm one of them. Oh, ha ha! Because it's like you never see a hawk that close, and then it's doing circles in an arena right over your head. I really wanted to capture that on camera, but it was really hard. Try to capture a falcon going that fast on a camera. So it's not easy. So watching the show, and this one dude, I just kept watching him because he was dead center in the stage. If I could describe this to you, the stage is like a hockey arena, right? You're all up above the hockey arena, and he was like, his positioning was like as if he was the goalie. He wasn't in the arena. He was above center goalie area, right? So he's dead center. But that just so happens to be where the dude that announces everything and has like his own play, and like he's all like, "Your Highness," and ha ha ha. Like that dude, he's the one that's standing there. And where do the spotlights go? Right to that family. Funniest shit I've ever seen, because they all of a sudden the thing turns on and they get blasted with a 10,000 lumen light bulb, and the one mother's just like, "Oh!" You could see them like screaming, and the kid's like, "I can't see," and the dad, he's just right in it. His retinas are just burning, and he's not even flinching his eyes. Nothing's happening. This is like every single night watching TV, and his wife is sleeping late night. This is the many late nights of his eyeballs frying in front of the TV, preparing him for this one moment where the lights just keep burning and burning and burning, and he's not letting go. He's watching that show. His kids is dying. His wife is like, "I'm out." And he's just still there. And they finally shut off the lights and they can chill out. He didn't flinch once. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen. What a great dude. He held on, dude. If I was that guy, I would have not held on. I would have closed my eyes or something, man. It was a bright light. Good for you, dude. That's really good for you. But it was honestly a really good show. Then the Green Knight won. Our Knight didn't win. It was like, whatever. The dude that tapped my shoulder, remember that guy? Frig that guy. So it was time to go, right? So they're calling people as usual, like they did in the beginning. Okay, black and white, table 1, 2, 3, 4 can leave now, right? So they call our table after everyone's leaving. My wife's like, "Are you sure you can leave?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can leave." My buddy's like, "Are you sure you can?" "Yeah, we can leave now. It's our turn." So I get up. We finally leave because it's all the COVID stuff, right? 6 feet apart, 6 feet apart. You're in a medieval times arena. They didn't even care in medieval times. They all got the Black Plague and had crazy sex. So we're all leaving, and the dude's still there making out with this chick, right? And he was obnoxious through the entire show. Like, the entire show, he's like, "Yeah! Woo! Yeah!" Like, really into it. I'm like, dude, this is not a fucking soccer game. Relax. No one's gonna win. This is all fake. Chill out. And he's clearly making a show for this girl that's right next to him. And I get it. Like, you're on a date. You're making yourself way more than you should be. But you're also old as hell. Relax. I can see through the crown that he was wearing. He's like, "Oh, I got hair, right?" And then you look above. I'm above him, and I can see through his crown. I see your lies and your balding head. I see it. You're old. Chill out. Stop acting like a teenager, right? If you're on a date, act a little bit more sensible. Again, I understand you're trying to stand out. Way too much, though. Way too much trying. So we're all leaving. And I'm thinking to myself, this is my moment, dude. And I so badly, like, if this was the old me, like a single guy who wouldn't be at medieval times by himself, but if I was, or like the drunk guy that I used to be, and maybe I would be at medieval times by myself, I would have been like, hey, dude, it's time to go. You know, they called their number, but you're over there. Guess what? You're making and you're kissing tongues. How does it feel? Can you? I think you can go now. But I didn't. And I think about that a lot. That's got free real estate in my mind still. I'm in the shower about it, thinking about how I could have said that, but I didn't. That's the other thing about being a parent, being old, is that you don't do things that you wanted to do or that you would have done when you were younger, right? I'm not that old, 33 years old, but still, you know, there's a certain point of your life where you don't do things that you used to do. And that's one of them. Going to medieval times by yourself and bothering people that are on dates, acting like turds. And I hope you're watching this one day or listening, because you were a big turd. And I hate you. I'm just kidding. So, being part of being old. I drive home. It's in Toronto. We live an hour away. My buddy loved it. We got our photos. Amazing weekend. I did the pod. Episode 3 was the previous one. I hope you listened to that one as well. I had Jay and Omar here. It was really good. It was a very eventful weekend. I did a little bit of drinking, which I truly regret, because drinking is not like it used to be for me before, because before I could drink, drink, get shit-faced, pass out, and then regret the next day, right? And now, if I drink, it's going to be where I don't sleep. I get insomnia. And that day, when we did the pod, the last one, I drank like 3 beers, right? And we were just conversating, having a good time. They leave. I try to go to bed, and I could not fall asleep until 6 in the morning. Now, I don't understand what the science behind that is and why it keeps getting worse, but even if I have 1 beer, I can't sleep. It affects me that much. And I'm thinking to myself, is it over? Is alcohol done now? Do I have to say goodbye? Is it really, though? Because I would like to. I would like to drink sometimes. Some people do it to unwind. I'm not saying I want to get shit-faced, but bro, come on. Who's making the rules? Who do I talk to? Is there a supervisor around here? Hey, I'd like to get drunk again. Nah. You're cut out, bro. All I really do is vape, because I don't even smoke anymore. Vaping is literally the only vice I have, other than like junk food. Getting old sucks. Cleaning's like repetitive as shit. It's like there's a gnome out there dirtying you up, or dirtying your kitchen up before you go to bed. Why is the kitchen always dirty? Why does that happen? These are questions you're like, just clean your kitchen then. Yeah, I did clean my kitchen. I do a full deep clean. My wife will do a full deep clean as well. We'll gloss up the floors, wipe up the countertops, remove the crumbs that are like there every day somehow. The plates that pile up in the sink, and then you get your. My wife hates the dishwasher, by the way, because she's like old school. She still doesn't believe that. This is another thing that I'm talking about with like new things. Bringing her here, dishwashers. They're not friends. You think, hey, I'm going to make your life easier right now. Just go ahead and put all those plates in the dishwasher, right? That's not how it works. She doesn't like it. She wants to do the cleaning all by herself. What can I say? Can I say no? All I'm thinking is it Sunday? Is it after 8 so I can turn the dishwasher on? And then I hear, you better not be using that. Why? I'll do it myself. All right. So it's like, I guess I'll leave it alone. Whatever. It's not a problem. We'll leave the dishes there, and I'll do everything else and clean around the floors and stuff, and my dog and his paw prints and the food that he leaves around, and make sure everything's all nice, right? And then you wake up the next day, and it's there again. Hey, give me a break. Like, I just want to live. I'm going to stop cleaning at some point. And you know what sucks? And I know you're listening out there right now, and you're a parent or a single parent, whatever. You own a house. This is forever. It's not like when you were a kid and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to be done school and then I'll move on to the next part of my life. And okay, I'm done school. I'm going to move on to a job and to the next part of my life. Okay, I'm now an adult. I have a job and I need another one. Okay, I got a house and now I have a better job, so I'm going to get another one because I want a nice car. Okay, now I have the car and the house and the wife and the family and everything I need, and now I have to clean for the rest of my life. Who signed me up? Who signed me up so I cannot sign up? Unsubscribe. Cancel. Stop. Who do I text? Stop. It's not fair. It's not fair. Cleaning that much is not fair. It should not be a thing. But it is. The dust especially. Where does the dust come from? I'm thinking to myself like, hey, I just wiped you down yesterday. Why do you look like a mothball? Why do you look like an ancient tomb from Egypt? Why do you look like a scroll that hasn't been opened in 1,000 years? It's dusty. Moth is coming out. What happened? I just cleaned you yesterday. And I got to do all like my monitors, keyboards, desks. Things are getting dirty I didn't know could get dirty. You know what the weirdest part of my house is? I moved in this house recently, right? Like I think November. How did I mix November and July? Whatever. And the weirdest part of this damn house is, one, people that lived here before are dirtbags. This house is a year old. It looks like it went through 10. But I cleaned it up and it looks good now. But dirty people. Why are you dirty? And two, when I open my balcony door, right, there's a guide on the ground. So like the door is on a guide. You could see it's like a rail for the door to slide open and close. Tell me how I'm the one that has dirt in those rails. Like literally like some kid grabbed a bunch of dirt from a pot plant and stuck it in there. How does that happen? How did that even happen? There's dents on the wall that are really high up. Like, what were you doing here, dude? To the person that used to live in this house before, were you a bunch of monkeys? I'll never understand that. You're an adult. You have responsibilities. We got to clean because we're in this cleaning stage of life. And your house looks like shit. And you're paying for it, too. You're paying top dollar to own a house. And then you move out. And then people realize that you're a monkey and you act and live like a monkey. Isn't that embarrassing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars and have a mortgage? And then your house looks like shit? Like, I'll never understand how you can work so hard and treat your surroundings like absolute ass. And guess what? The new house you moved into, you're going to have to clean the tables anyway. And the dust. And the dishes, they're going to still be there. And you're going to still be the same dirty asshole you were. It just pisses me off. Like, whoever lived here, I can't get over it. And and it's an everyday thing. Like, I'm walking to the kitchen and I'll see like a scuff mark on the wall. I'm like, how did you do that? What happened over here? What's the reason? No reason. I can't even think of how half of the things happen. Like, why is there a scuff on the ceiling? Over there, I'm not going to show you, but there's a scuff on the ceiling. What happened? Did you throw your child up? Thunk. I don't understand. So, take care of your house because you're going to be cleaning for the rest of your life. I don't want to go on a tangent of being old, but that's literally what's happening. I sit down every night. I try to. Tonight I won't because I'm dedicating it to my pod, right? I work full-time, not on a job. I have my own business like I've been talking about millions of times, e-commerce. I'm a business owner, right? So I have 2 hours a night to sit down and play some PlayStation. Did I play PlayStation before? No. I didn't because I was always like a PC guy. I wanted to enjoy myself, that way. I always thought it was like the best way to just download a game for free or crack it or whatever. And I got myself a PlayStation 5. And I was like, what's the big deal? It's just a console. Why is this thing sold out everywhere? It's the experience. To sit down, everything's ready for you. You've just cleaned the whole house that keeps getting dirty every day. And you pop on a game and you just become this character. And even if you don't play video games, you don't need to relate to having a game system. But you can relate to an escape, right? You can relate to leaving your problems for just a little bit. And I'm not talking like drinking your life away or whatever. A lot of people do that. They have vices like that. That's fine. Kill yourself whatever way you want. But video games are good. So I dedicate 2 hours. It's not bad. 2 hours to play like some Red Dead Redemption. What a game. Or like I beat all the Resident Evils. Zombie stuff, if you don't know what that is. And I'm really devoted into it. I'm into it, right? And before, I wouldn't have the attention span to sit in front of a TV and play these things because it's too busy working, too busy making a living. And I love it that my kid can sit down next to Papa and play some games. Even if it's Resident Evil, she's 5 and she's not scared. She's helped me with puzzles. She remembers the slightest details. This kid is insanely smart. And I think that just goes with any kid. If you have a child, they remember that thing that happened 7 months ago for 3 seconds. They remember it today. So my kid was able to see something that happened in the game and be like, hey, but I think you got to do that. How did you know? Are you a robot? Are you a cyborg? Is life a simulation? Is this real? There's a million questions I'm asking myself. And I'm looking at my child, and I'm like, you're a little mini computer, eh? You're just a sponge. You're just absorbing all this information. That's crazy. Again, kids are nuts. Love it, though. Love being a dad. But anyway, I sit down. I have my moment. I have a moment with my kid. I can unwind. So I'm thinking to myself, what's the huge fuss? And that's the huge fuss. People want to feel that escape and that next new thing. And it could be just about anything with a new phone, a new tablet, a new piece of technology, VR. All this stuff is just to escape our daily mundane lives. So PS5s are hard to get. And I was trying to find one for my nephew for so long because the kid has a PS4 and it was just it was on its last legs, really. So I said, I'm going to look for one for you, dude. And I signed up to Discord. It's like a gaming chat channel. You can talk about anything there. You can make a channel about why you like feet and there could be admins for it and there's moderation and all that. So I'm in a channel that's basically monitoring stock constantly for Best Buy, Costco, Shoppers Drug Mart, which is a Canadian pharmacy that has games in it for some reason, electronics. Walmart, whatever. I don't know if I said that, but it's monitoring these things and it's going through millisecond checks. So I'll get a message on my phone, 3 a.m, 2 a.m, right now. It could be right now during this podcast. Costco drop, PS5 comes with a controller and a game. And you click it, sold out. Fuck. And you try it again, sold out. And there's another one that comes sold out. Why? Because there's bots. And these bots, what they're doing is they're buying these systems. The millisecond that they arrive on the market, they're buying them right out. And some dude in his basement has stacks of these PS5s that are going on eBay and they're scalping them. So kids are not having the opportunity to play. Sony's losing money because no one's going on to buy digital games. Again, you don't need to be a gamer to understand this. The bottom line is that Sony's losing money because no one's buying their actual digital content. 60% of the PS5s available on the market haven't even been turned on. This is just to get you an idea of how in demand this console is, and it's just a piece of electronic, dudes. It's not a requirement of life, but somehow it's become incredibly sought after. It came out in 2020. We're in 2022 and it's still sold out. So I'm trying my best, and I finally get my nephew a PS5. The shopping channel of all places, with one of those notifications on the website. What did this company do to make money? They added on every single possible thing that you have to buy for a PS5. So the headphones, the controller, a game, the media remote, a camera, useless as hell unless you're a streamer. And the bundle was like $1,000 and something. But when you piece it all together, you're getting charged retail for every single piece in that bundle. So you're thinking to yourself, well, you can buy the PS5, right? Because you need it. It's sought after. Doesn't matter what it comes with. And then just sell the rest, right? It's not as easy because people don't want the garbage. They want the console. Straight up. So my nephew, whatever, he takes the PS5 and he's happy. And so I made it a mission after that to get PS5s as soon as I can, if I see them, and give it to someone, not for free, obviously, give them the opportunity to buy it for retail. And then hopefully they'll have a better chance, or hopefully they'll enjoy the fact that they didn't have to like wait a year and a half to go to a store and for them to tell you they don't have it. Because the worst thing is going to like a GameStop and the dudes are tired of answering this freaking question. Do you have any PS5s? We don't have PS5s. We haven't seen them since Christmas. Okay, dude, chill out. It's a game system. We get it. You're tired of the same question over and over, but we're also tired of the fact that they don't exist. And a lot of those dudes, they'll get them in their store and they'll buy them themselves because that's how crazy this game has gone. So for families, again, you don't have to be a gamer to understand the concept of this demand, but people want to sit down and play, and that's it. What sells, to me, are the two most important things, right? Demand. Things that are in demand sell. Like NFTs and all those non-fungible tokens that you can't touch, they sell because they're in demand. It's artificial demand. And also nostalgia. Nostalgia is something else that sells. People that can feel that feeling they once felt when they were a kid. Just like when I sat down for the first time in front of a PS5 and I was like, damn, I feel good, right? So that feeling, you're chasing that. So getting a PS5 became an adrenaline rush to help people. So there was a Walmart drop, and they dropped a ton of them. And it was against these bots. They had some sort of protection that it was real people at this point buying them. And I think in that group that day, everyone and their grandmother got a PS5, and I ended up getting 2. I just put them in different addresses because that's okay. You can do that. It's one per household, right? There's no rule that says you can't be the same person. I'm not scalping them, though. I'm actually, one, I sold to my friend. And that's the one, oh, I didn't mention this. I got it from Shoppers Drug Mart. They called me on the phone. They said, hey, come pick it up. So I picked that up and I kept it here. And the 2 others, one is from my brother-in-law, and one I still have. And I'm thinking, what's the best way to do something good, right? Because I want to help someone. So if you're watching this or you're listening to this pod and you've gotten to this point of the 43-minute mark or whatever it is we're at right now, I'm going to give away a PS5. So when I get to 1,000 subscribers on this channel, on my YouTube, or at a certain point with my Spotify, or whatever it is, wherever it is that you're listening to this, it's make sure I have a good fan base. Because let's be real. I have a podcast. I'd like people to listen. It's straight up. Every podcaster out there right now, it's a bunch of rich dudes talking about why their maids didn't clean up their rooms. One of the things I heard was that they dirty up the beds and stuff so that they make sure that the maid clean it. I can't relate to that at all. I'm listening to these podcasts of rich people where your Lambos and your Maseratis and your just send it, bro, and all this. I can't relate to that because that's not the life that I have. So maybe you can relate to my channel as a normal guy. Just trying to make ends meet with a business and a family. So I got the PS5 right here. if you're listening, I just pulled out a PS5 out of nowhere. And I'm going to give this out. I'm going to do that to somebody once I get to 1,000 subscribers. And that's what's going to be part of this channel all the time. Because I think that it's important to have an incentive to come back, right? I would want one. I rarely see podcasters give away things, right? So maybe that would be good for you guys to have an incentive to watch and, know that I take care of my people, right? It's a good episode. Today was a good one. I feel like I talked about a lot with my weekend. Like I said, I had that podcast with my buddies coming over. You guys might have had a good weekend. Right now, you're probably listening to me and you're in the gym, working out, lifting some weights, getting deezed. You're looking at your muscles right now and being like, it's working out. I feel good. And I feel good too. I feel good that I could share these moments, make this podcast what it is. I could be like, I could be different. That's the idea, Make sure you have somewhere to come to listen to someone that you can relate to that has the same issues as you do. Because life is like that, right? And we're all in it together. We're going to live once. What's the purpose of life? No one knows, right? So may as well just pick a right podcast. Not saying you got to ditch all your other podcasts to listen to mine. Be nice, though. But at least pick me and leave me on your playlist there. And get you through the day, right? And don't forget all the work that you do and that sink you cleaned 10 times and the dust that you cleaned off your table and your kid that you took to school today and all the things that you did, you're worth it. You made it and you got this far and everything you've done in your life at this point, you did it. You did it. I can't believe myself that I've gotten this far. I thought literally when I was like 35, I'm going to die. And I'm still here. I'm 33. Now, the irony is I die when I'm 35, but no. I always thought I was going to be like a punk-ass alcoholic forever and get nowhere. And look where I'm at now, right? So if you're not there, you're going to know when you're there. There in quotations, because that could be you're there. When you're finally happy, when you've moved out, when you've gotten to a different province, when you've left that shit job that you hate, and you realize you're finally happy, that's when you're there. So you're gonna realize you're gonna have that epiphany, that moment at some point in your life. That's what we want. Well, that's what I want for you. And that's what happened to me. I realized that I'm there. So I want to thank you for being part of the 4th episode of this podcast. We're going to still keep going. And when I say we, me and my guests, we're going to still keep going. Still try to make it a really easy and enjoying listening experience for all you out there. And thank you once again for tuning in. And as always, I'm Dante. Peace out, my friends.
We'll see you next time on the Just Talk to Me Bro podcast.